Hello, my name is Voya and welcome to my deep guide. Well, it's time to, ding dong and check back in again with the Reinkstone R1 and the TopJoy Butterfly campaigns and see where we're at, since there's a lot of users who have invested a lot of money into these projects, and I think that it's an important thing to provide coverage and to provide a warning and to kind of learn from what is turning out to be a very, very bad experience overall. But before I dig into all of that, the only reason why I am able to bring you objective and not sponsored messages by these companies or anything like that is basically your support. So it really does mean a lot that you like and that you subscribe to the channel if you like what I do, and also if you would like to further support this kind of independent work, then you can check down the link down below for the My Daily Organizer on mydeepguide.com/shop and check out the MDO 2023 if that's something that suits your needs or not. And in any case, purchase of that one, you get a really, really good yearly organizer, and plus you help support the My Deep Guide's independence. And now onwards with the I can't think of any appropriate word here other than some expletive. So yes, let's move on. Well, let's start with the Reinkstone R1 Kickstarter. And the thing is that we still only have the June 29th as an update, and the latest update was, well, this one's locked here, but it's exactly the same as on Indiegogo because it was released on the same date, which says like, we just received several latest DS screens from our screen supplier. We are now ramping up trial production and we expect to ship the R1 in early September. Well, we are now in early October, and since then we had no announcements, no notifications, no communications whatsoever. And at this point, when I was always saying that borderline on a scam kind of a thing, well, now I think that they've crossed that border full on, because there's no communication. They are not honoring a single thing that they've said for a year, over a year now, actually. And it's been deactivated by Kickstarter. Their Kickstarter page, main place where they've gotten over $1 million, is deactivated and has been allowed to remain deactivated for over 3 months. And that is just absolutely terrible. It is absolutely terrible for the backers, and there's absolutely no excuses at this point whatsoever. Furthermore, their Facebook group is collapsing completely. The name of the Facebook group has been changed to Reinkstone Community Capitals We Are Still Waiting, with absolutely no updates or anything like that in there. So overall, I think that this whole thing is just falling apart completely, as unfortunately both me and JB, we were trying to warn people not to be deceived by this. If it's too good to be true, or it looks to be too good to be true, then it is too good to be true. There's a reason why neither myself nor JB have backed this project, and unfortunately it looks like both of us, we were right. I wish we weren't, for the sake of the backers, but we are. So you have to be careful. You have to look at the red flags. You can't really run and kind of hope for the best, because that usually doesn't give that good of a result, especially when you have so many red flags as you've had with the Reinkstone R1. And at this point, it's gonna be the best thing that can possibly happen is that something gets shipped at some point in time, but it's no longer certain at all that even that is gonna happen. At this point, it might as well happen that no one receives anything at all, or some users receive some broken piece of whatever, insert expletive here. The biggest problem is, if this is their performance and this is how this company and team are behaving and working on this project, what do you think their support for the project and the lifetime of the project is going to be like. So this is a complete disaster, unfortunately, and I don't think there's a way that Reinkstone R1 is ever going to be salvaged. My advice for people who have money in this is, if possible, try to get it out, because there are some credit cards and some banks that have beyond 30 days, so they even have a whole year, so buyer protection thing. So look into that, because you're sticking with this doesn't make any sense. So yeah, and best of luck as far as that goes. On the TopJoy side of things, it's a little bit different. They communicate a lot more frequently, because you can see that we've had communications all the way through the summer, bunch of in August, like when they received screens, what their production is like, what the plan is like, what's happening, blah 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 blah. And the latest one was actually a week ago, or less than a week ago, which was September 30th. Both on Kickstarter and Indiegogo, it's the same thing. However, it's not rosy there at all, but it's at least not a complete disaster as it is with the Reinkstone R1. So the TopJoy Butterfly, they're saying that they're saying confusing things. There are still about 400 units that have not been shipped because of the regional logistics company problems. We have to ship after the 7th, because that is their 7th of October, not September, because that's another holiday or something like that. Please wait patiently for the tracking number, blah, 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 that have been shipped. Which means that they have shipped it, but people have not received their tracking numbers. So again, there's like a huge problem, logistical issues. Like, this is not how it's supposed to work. When it's shipped, by the end of the day, you send out the shipping numbers for the units that have been shipped. As simple as that. You don't do this, whatever it is that you are actually doing right now. There are too many messages, and I am afraid that we will not be able to reply in time. Mixed feelings about this, because on one hand they're prioritizing shipping and finalizing the production and things like that to communication, which I guess is a good thing. The bad thing is that they're not communicating, and logistical errors may happen when things like this are being organized. And to me, the biggest problem here is disorganization and inability to plan things properly. Of course, a year delay would have been a hint as well. The problem here is that they've said in their original plan is that by end of August, all of 6 and 7.8 inch devices will be shipped. Then they had another delay, which is like we're producing, there's a delay in production for 7.8 inch. And now at the end of September or beginning of October, we have another message, which is like most of the units of 6-inch have been shipped, but we haven't really sent out the shipping notifications or tracking numbers. So the only thing that we can actually take a look at is basically the communications. Some people didn't get it, some people did get it. However, last night I got mine in Japan without any advance notice or tracking number. Just started using the unit. It looks fine and well built. I don't know if it deserves waiting too long. It will become clearer in a few days. So the units are being shipped out, and it might happen that you actually receive your unit before you receive a tracking number, simply because it's a disorganized mess over there. But unlike the Reinkstone R1, TopJoy Butterfly is actually in the shipping process, and they are delivering some units, and first units have actually started to reach their backers' hands, not just the reviewers. And then it becomes interesting to actually see what kind of impressions are about the 7.8 inch unit. And there we also have like a review, but I'm on a fence of actually warranting the GoodEReader article that they've issued a review, because they haven't had a single questionable or critical thing to even mention about the device. In their words, everything is absolutely rosy, which I find very, very difficult to believe, considering the images that we've seen and the video materials that we've seen previously of how these devices actually perform, even on their marketing material. The review actually goes through just specifications and factual data, which is fine, like just information of what you get, what you don't get. But the thing is that they're not commenting on the speed or the ghosting or the responsiveness of the device in any way. The only thing they do mention is that the speed, the refresh speed of the display mode is still lacking to allow even decent levels of video watching experience, which is of course. And here and there you might notice like that maybe it's not absolute perfection, but the overall tone is one that it's all rosy, it's all good. Even they have to acknowledge that even though it's a DS screen and it's inherently supposed to be better than the Kaleido technology, you can't expect to actually get the white, black and white kind of color. And yeah, it inherently being a color display, the black on white effect is missing. Instead, what you get is a black over what is essentially a gray background, though the superb contrast saves the day so that the overall reading experience is excellent. I'm sorry, you can't have both excellent and that. At best, the contrast can come in and save the day and make it still good or very good, but it can no longer be excellent. So this is something that really doesn't paint a decent picture of what the actual experience of the device might be, because we already know that this platform has a lot of problems, most of which haven't been actually even mentioned, and especially in the conclusion that says TopJoy Butterfly will make you smile with joy. That's not an understatement. Now, okay, I'm gonna wait for my TopJoy Butterfly to come, and I'm gonna do, of course, my own review of this, but I'm really skeptical about this statement. Now, GoodEReader has their own reputation. I'm not gonna get into this, but I think this is now going way overboard. It's just doing it way too much. Has a lot of things going for it. It offers good performance. Okay, sports a nice build quality, we'll see, and offers a vibrant color display. The writing experience is good too, and the pen is nice to hold and operate. It's a device that seems to know what it's built for and will perform optimally in that domain. Couple that with a $259 price tag, and what you have is a true winner in the TopJoy Butterfly. This reads like a sponsored article, not like a review. And I'm sorry, for a 7.8-inch device, which is supposed to be, I mean, the whole thing is that it's note-taking capable, has a pen, it has everything. The only thing mentioned in the entire article is that the writing experience is good too. And the pen is nice to hold and operate. Yeah, we have a whole pen section here, but there's not a single mention of what the writing performance is like. That's the only information we have so far, and I am taking that with a ginormous grain of salt, especially when you kind of combine it with the real-world users who have received their devices, and you know, they have different types of experiences. Here's a user who says, like, I received the E601, that would be the 6-inch E601 a few days ago, and I'm on the fence. Here are a few things that I found that maybe dislike it a bit less. Okay, great start. Though number one on their update list needs to be to fix the backlight adjustment. Now it seems you can only go from 100 down to 95%. That's not functioning, that's broken. But okay, went through to the steps to enable Google Play, had to do it twice for some reason, but then it worked. Only app I've downloaded was Nuke app, and it was not impressed with the Reader app that came with the E601. I'm still not especially impressed with the display as compared with my Nuke. Hopefully an update will be released soon addressing the shortcomings posted here. Then another one is like, I would like Falcon to give us a software update including up-to-date security patch. It has now more than a year-old security patch version of 2021.6.5. This could cause a problem for secure use. Due to the large physical distance between the protective glass and the DS screen, there is a visible misalignment between the EMR pen and the e-paper. Since it is a structural problem, I hope that it will be improved in the next product. I mean, this is what we saw on their How Honest Are They commercial, and the TopJoy team was proud enough to actually respond there and say, oh, you will see how much improved it has been. Seriously? Well, these are the users who are receiving your products, and we are seeing the same thing. And if a user is able to see that problem, hey, the front light intensity goes between 195% And the only review that we're getting from GoodEReader is like, hey, everything is honky-dory, it's gonna make you smile. Well, what the hell is going on here? Something's off. Either all of these users are completely wrong, or maybe what GoodEReader is doing is something that should be called into question finally, because that article is just really, really something that should be revised. Like, somebody out there in GoodEReader should take a good look at that again, because these two things are not aligning at all. And in the article, there's no mention of the 1 year delay. There's no mention of the huge problems that have been happening. No, it's just an article. Hey, here's a new product and everything is rosy and everything is shiny, and that's about it. To me, that's an even bigger disappointment than the whole TopJoy Butterfly, but I guess that would be a different discussion. The only thing that actually forces it into this discussion is that this is so far the only review that we have gotten of this device, and it seems to be not based on facts but actual on marketing blah blah. So yeah, that's what we're actually having at this point. Another user for the 6-inch, similar to other users, I have the following issues. Screen color seems very washed out. Had to tone down the brightness to lowest and still not much better. The setting brightness doesn't seem to register. The power consumption is ridiculous, literally 1% of battery every 1-2 minutes idle. The refresh needs major work. User Kindle and turning of the pages is very annoying. Received finally, underwhelmed. Screen seems washed out and blinky, laggy, glitchy. 6-inch model does not work with the MR stylus. Well, of course it doesn't, that's not their fault. No CBR, CBZ readability out of the box. Disappointed, very disappointed, not intuitive. Problems after a day and a little use, points to be improved. Battery consumption is high. Horizontal lines appear on the screen. I want you to stop shutting down due to the passage of time. The weakest backlight is too bright. After startup, Wi-Fi is not automatically connected. Part of Japanese translation is strange. Falcon, which is, I guess, the person, you know, the face behind the TopJoy Butterfly thing. With all those issues, nobody will believe you that you ever made any software improvements, and that was my point, because they kept saying like, oh, we made so many software improvements. Where are they? Have you shown them anywhere? No, you're just saying things, and it seems that you're not just saying things, it seems that you were saying untruths about this, which is a big problem. So you had so much time because of all those unforced delays. You probably have spent more time creating those commercials than working on software. It's a year-old commercial, so no. I cannot believe that you have taken so much time and money just to create garbage. Is there any hope that you will provide a working product with all the promised features, or are you totally satisfied with your garbage? So these are people who funded this project. These are the people who made it possible for the TopJoy team to actually make this, and this is what is being received after a year of waiting. So all in all, yes, TopJoy Butterfly is not a complete scam, as in they have produced a thing and they have delivered it, or they're delivering that thing to their users. So from the standpoint of comparing it to Reinkstone, which is now a complete scam, this one's a little bit less bad. However, as I said before, just because it's less bad than the worst thing ever doesn't mean that it's by any means good. And in that context, I really do have a very big problem with the article from the GoodEReader, because it's not talking about issues that this project throughout the whole thing has had, and that this product obviously has. So yeah, we have the Reinkstone R1, which is now fully went on into the scam category for the reasons we've already talked about. And then you have the TopJoy Butterfly, which was always a little bit less scammy, and this is the reason why I actually backed that project instead of the Reinkstone R1, because I thought that this one stood at least a chance to make it to the finish line and deliver. And even though they are also a year delayed and things are not good by any means, and despite what GoodEReader's review article, I can't really call it a proper review, so I have to use the air quotes because it has nothing about objectivity there. Despite what it would like to lead you to believe, TopJoy Butterfly is not bringing joy to their first users who are actually receiving this unit, to the people who have backed this project with their money, to people who have backed it up with their patience and made this whole thing possible. I don't see a lot of joy in what these people have experienced, so that's something to definitely be aware of. I'm waiting for my unit, which I guess is that 701 or whatever kind of version is. I didn't receive any tracking number, but that's not surprising since the majority of people haven't received their tracking numbers and they're receiving the units first and then their tracking number after they've received their unit, which is again backwards, so we'll see. But either way, the TopJoy Butterfly is being shipped out and is reaching users, backers' hands. Now, what is reaching their hands is unfortunately seems to be quite disappointing, which is not a big surprise to me since I've covered all of this and I've kind of expect quite little from this, but they seem to be delivering even less than the low expectations that I already have with the brightness problems and all of the things that our users are already reporting, which is a tremendous disappointment after a year of waiting. And when and if it does arrive to me, I will try my best to actually provide you with an actual review with factual informations and with factual data that you can actually rely on, and a fair dose of objectivity, because that's what my deep guide is all about. Thank you so much for watching. Stay safe, stay healthy, and see you in the next video. Bye.